Okay, I guess I will start. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for giving me the next 20 minutes of your time to talk about a subject that I'm truly passionate about, which is tropicalization of luxury in the Caribbean and Latin America. So my name is Gamal El Fakih. As you can see, I work as Vice President of Operations for all our luxury hotels, Marriott International for the Caribbean and Latin America. And I'll spend the next 20 minutes trying to talk a little bit about what tropicalization means. I do have some slides. I don't know if I will have time to go through all the slides, but I'm happy to share them after the presentation. If you get in touch with me, I'm happy to share the slides if they are useful to you. So before we start talking about tropicalization, I would like to ground ourselves a little bit on the concept of luxury. You know, I don't want to bore you with a lot of theory, but I think it's important for us to understand. And I'm sure that all of you agree that luxury is a concept that is very difficult to define objectively. Usually when we talk about luxury, we talk about products, services, and experiences, very important, that are superior in quality. They are usually related to words like craftsmanship, exclusivity, uniqueness, is words that always come when we try to define luxury. And most of the times it's about unattainable products and services that evoke dreams among the masses, right? So people dream about the luxury products and services, right? There is words like indulgence, emotional connection, enjoyment, comfort, and pleasure, and very important, social significance and status. You know, what is the position that I can have socially when I'm involved within luxury, right? Very important to know is luxury is always desirable, but it's not essential, right? When we talk about luxury, we always like to look at luxury from two different perspectives, what we call materialistic luxury and experiential luxury. Materialistic is everything that is good quality, high price, not essential for survival, you know, like fashion designers, automobiles, private planes, private yachts, etc. So those are things that are related to materialistic luxury. But then we also have the other side of the spectrum, which is experiential luxury, which is more about creating memories that can be very simple, like spending some time with family and friends, or just spending, you know, a peaceful moment in nature, or just taking the time and the freedom, having enough time and freedom in order to enjoy our personal passions, right? So that's what we refer to when we are talking about experiential luxury. Luxury has evolved over the years, but there is always some common characteristics that are always present through history. The first one is subjectivity. We mentioned it already. You know, what is luxury for somebody? What is a necessity for luxury for somebody can be a necessity for somebody else. So it's a very subjective term to define. Scarcity and exclusivity is also one of the main characteristics of luxury. It needs to be rare. So the notion of rarity, limited availability is always present when we try to define luxury. And I'm talking about luxury overall, not only luxury hospitality, but luxury overall, the notion of luxury. Quality and craftsmanship, as I mentioned before, when we think about luxury and we think about craftsmanship, we think on artisans, right? The best materials in order to create the good or services, but also very long processes. It's almost an obsession for details. People take the time to create luxury, right? So that word of quality and craftsmanship is always present. And obviously, because of all this cost, we will always have high prices, you know? So it's not everybody can reach or can have access to luxury because of the high prices that we normally offer. Social significance, this is a very important point, is luxury always throughout the years has been used as a symbol of status, prestige, and social identity, right? It's a way to convey an image of power, being part of a group of people, being present in society, right? So social significance always has been an integral part of the luxury definition as well. And emotional connection and hedonism is all about indulging in memories, indulging on creating different experiences. And that have changed over the years. You know, luxury always has somehow of a dubious reputation, mainly due to moral, religious precepts. But on the 18th century, that changed. You know, we start looking at luxury from a more secular and economic view. It was a way to create abundance, to create prosperity on society. So we start demoralizing a little bit that notion of luxury. And that has been, you know, taking us to wherever we are now. Nowadays, as you can see, we're prioritizing more well-being rather than luxury goods. So it's more the luxury as felt rather than luxury as seen, right? So this is the tendencies that we start seeing over the past 10 to 15 years when we speak about luxury. It's more like a state of mind rather than just a symbol or an experience. And also very important, there is a shift from owning to being, right? So nowadays, luxury is more about who I am or who I want to be rather than what I have, right? So we have seen that tendency over the past 10 and 15 years, and this is where luxury is taking us for years to come, right? When we talk about luxury guests, these definitions from a product-centric definition of luxury towards a more experience definition of luxury, where experiences are more important than goods, will always help us to understand a little bit more what our luxury guest. In Marriott International, we understood that a few years ago when we decided to start embracing that notion of luxury, trying to stop being just normal hotel operators and taking the time to talk to the luxury traveler and understand what are the things that they care about. Looking at the world through their eyes and trying to craft experiences that will really create an impact on their personal lives. And that's what helped us to build our luxury group, which is our 7 luxury brands that we have, and that help us to understand a little bit more. In Marriott, we normally consider a luxury travel, someone that spends at least 55% of their hotel stays in a luxury hotel. And they do twice as many trips as any other guest from other segments, like premium or select. And it's constantly growing, We have seen last year that there has been an increase of 11% of luxury travelers versus only 4% for the premium and select travelers. So you see how much luxury is taking protagonism in the hospitality industry overall. We see it on the numbers. This is a report that we got from Credit Suisse in 2023. The increase is an increasing sector of the economy. Luxury in general, is always contributing to growth, innovation, cultural enrichment for millions of people around the world. There is a huge increase of 38% on global wealth. We expect this by 2027 to reach $629 trillion worldwide. So obviously it's huge, the global wealth that will be available, and obviously we benefit from that in the hospitality industry. I love that 30% that says that most of that global wealth will be in emerging economies. This is important for us in the Caribbean and Latin America, where most of our countries are obviously emerging economies. So it seems that we're going to have a good part of that cake, right? So that's by 2027. The next table that you see on the other side is also important for us, mainly for our Caribbean resorts, because the source market is mainly from the U.S. mainland. There is an increase of 11.4% on the supply, on the demand, versus only 4.5% on the supply on luxury in general. So this is important numbers for us, and that explains why all the interest that we put in luxury hospitality. There is another report from Bain & Company that just came 3 weeks ago. It's fresh out of the oven. 2.3 trillion luxury travel market size to double by 2030. So this is nonstop. It's growing and growing, and it will continue growing for many years to come. Something that caught my attention when we talk about luxury travel is that in that report is that 50% of the ultra high net worth individuals, they like to indulge in extravagant travel. Whatever that means. It can be space tourism, but it can be getting lost in the Chilean Patagonian. There is a travel agent, Black Tomato, that for 50,000 pounds, you get lost. They just, blind you, and then they put you on a plane, and you get lost for 10 days. So that type of extravagant travel, we have heard some of the speakers earlier today, is coming more and more often when we talk about luxury hospitality. And obviously, the Caribbean and Latin America, we play an important role on that arena. So our luxury guests, as I said, I'm sorry, I'm going back, I'm going front now. Some of the trends, I'm gonna go very quickly through that. So that global wealth, so this is obviously being passed to the new generations. Somebody mentioned today the ultra high net worth individuals, 600,000 people in the world that are considered ultra high net worth individuals, so people with a net wealth of 30 millions or more. But guess what? This is expected to be 2.2 millions by 2030, just 5 years around the corner. 2.2 millions of ultra-high net worth individuals. And we are raising the bar, so it's not 30 million, the benchmark anymore, but it's going to be $100 million on net worth. So it's growing and growing. There is a change, a transfer of wealth going from baby boomers into the new generations, millennials, alphas, Gen Zs, right? Together with women, today they represent 80% of the luxury consumption around the world. So 80% of that money come from millennials, Gen Alphas, Gen Zs, and women. Women usually spend 3 times more than men on luxury spending. Millennials, Gen Zs, they are already buying luxury goods as early as 15 years old. So look at the change, the days that we are living now when it comes to the evolution of luxury hospitality. Few words like quiet luxury and nostalgia, they come often when we talk about trends. Quiet luxury or silent luxury, right, is what we also call the all money, right? It's more about the elegance. It's not the opulence showing, but it's more about the elegance. So that's what we refer to when we talk about quiet luxury. And the word nostalgia, very important. That's very present in luxury. You know, people longing for a life where we were not so much in a hurry, that it was not so predictable. So nostalgia is also an element that we see often when we talk about luxury trends, and we try to get inspired on that. Sustainability, I don't think I need to explain that. You know, the brands are always, customers will always prefer brands that reflect their own personal identity, their own personal values. Sustainability is important for millennials and for all the new generations. We all know that. Wellness, big market, $615 billion on wellness. That goes a little bit more than just fitness and well-being. It's also about longevity. We keep on hearing that term more and more. You know, people that are playing on the wellness space, longevity, spirituality, etc. All these are trends that we see more and more often in luxury. Clienteling, loyalty, personalization, really being unique. We have to be careful because, you know, sometimes the line between curated and creepy is not always clear. I heard that sometime last year, right? Somebody said yesterday on the stage, we need to meet the guest where he wants us to meet him, right? So sometimes in luxury, we overdo things. So we have to be cautious with that. And when we talk about personalization, this is what comes to mind. Digital tech evolution, not only for the guest-facing technologies like mobile keys, etc., but also what happens behind, right? AI. You know, how can we use data in order to understand the changing preferences of the luxury guest? How can we match products with the guest? So all these things that before we didn't have, now with technology is very easy, is at hand, is available for everybody, okay? So, quick deep dive into we call it CALA, Caribbean and Latin America. So that's our region for Marriott International. That's just a little bit of numbers on what's happening in the luxury landscape in CALA. Mexico, obviously, $5 billion luxury market with an annual growth of 6 to 9%, mainly due to luxury real estate and tourism. This is really the 2 drivers on luxury in Mexico as of today. Colombia, 7-10% annual growth is mainly on fashion and jewelry. So everything that is luxury fashion, luxury jewelry is really the trend in Colombia. Obviously, that will always have, through our partnership, our hotels, they will always have a stage in hospitality, right? Brazil, obviously, is the giant of the South. We all know that, $7 billion, an annual growth of 8 to 10%, mainly fashion and accessories. That's what defines luxury in Brazil these days. Chile, 5-7% annual growth. Santiago de Chile, a lot on luxury real estate and premium services. But also when you go to the Patagonia, you know, the beautiful landscapes that they have is all about remote glamping, that extravagant travel that we were talking before. And Argentina, 4 to 6%, have been a lot of changes on the last year and a half on politics. And, you know, the country's leaning a little bit more to the right, so that means more investment. People are a little bit more reassured to start investing in luxury hotels. So obviously that have a big impact on us. Also in Argentina, there is a strong cultural ties with Europe. So obviously the luxury in Argentina is very much related to what happened in Italy, in Spain, etc. Then we have luxury consumer, as you can see, 42% in the millionaire population, growing on the next 2 to 3 years. Marriott presence in CALA, 49 hotels as of today, 17 countries. We are developing 35 more on the next 3 years and a half, so we expect that in the next 5 years, we're gonna have close to 60 hotels in the region. That represents 50% of our revenues, 2025, 52% of our fees. That brings us to the concept of tropicalization very quickly. So what is tropicalization? It's just trying to find our own voice to define what luxury means in the Caribbean and Latin America. What the travelers are looking for when they travel to the region, specifically that are related to the region. Every country is different. Every country has a different view of luxury. If you look at Europe, for example, luxury and luxury hospitality is all related to history, is very much related to architecture, to culinary, gastronomy, wines, cigars, etc. So that's Europe. If you look at the Middle East, luxury is more, the biggest, the tallest, the shinest, right? It's all about opulence and glitter, right? In the Caribbean and Latin America, we are trying to discover our own voice, and that's why we call it tropicalization of luxury in the Caribbean and Latin America. How we want luxury. If we think in the Caribbean, what that means. What is the Caribbean identity? Colorful markets, carnivals, festivals year-round, an obsession with cricket or with rum, whatever it is. We need to identify that identity, and we need to see how are we going to bring that into our luxury hotels in the region so we can really bring it to life in our hotels. So that's what discovering our voice of luxury is all about. We did some surveys on the past few years, and we came up with some trends that, as you see, are very much related to what I mentioned before. Authenticity, cultural significance is very big, but authentic. Guess the luxury traveler wants to be connected with the locale. It cannot be staged. It's not a Walt Disney type of experience, right? It needs to be authentic. It needs to be real. So authenticity and cultural significance is very important in the Caribbean and Latin America. As I said, sustainability, natural beauty. We have marvelous landscapes, from the rainforest in Brazil to the Andes Mountains in Peru to the Patagonia in Chile, stunning beaches in the Caribbean. So nature, preserving the nature is very important for us. Every single one of our hotels needs to have an active role on preserving the sustainability and the natural beauty. Service from the heart, Latinos in general, and in the Caribbean in general, we are very family-oriented. Community is important. So that's natural in the staff. So that's also an important element. Technology versus craftsmanship, we spoke about it. Empowering the local community is very important. There is a lot of social disparity in the Caribbean and Latin America. So it is important that when we open a hotel in any one of our markets, we have a close connection with the local community, and that the tourism will really benefit the locals, right? Through employment, through the use of materials, through partnership with local artisans. So we're gonna do everything that it takes in order to keep that bond with them. Culinary and wellness, is a large tapestry of flavors, from the native civilizations to the Spanish, Portuguese, or French colonizers. So there is a large variety of cuisines. We try to bring that to life in all our hotels. And the same goes with wellness. Wellness is very much related to ancestral rituals, mainly in Mexico, in Ica, or in Peru, where we had ancient civilizations. Wellness play an important role because the mind, the body, the spirit, and the local community are always very much interconnected. So we always try to bring that to life in all of our hotels. And then finally, local luxury, partnership with local artisans. This is just 3 examples: Casa Dragones, Tequila House, and Miguel de Allende. We always will partner with this type of luxury brands. They are our great partners in Formula One in Mexico City through the Ritz-Carlton. Silvia Teixerazzi is a Colombian fashion designer. She used textile from the local communities in order to create her apparel. And then Beck Jewels, which is a Caribbean-inspired jewelry house based in New York, but with strong ties with the Caribbean. So that's local luxury, and then authenticity, obviously, through the design of our hotels. And I would like to finish with that. Is a video that talks a little bit on how we try to look that authenticity every time that we build a hotel in the region, through the choice of materials, through the journeys, the activations that we do in our hotels. I would like to finish my 20 minutes today with this video. It's very short, it's only 2 minutes, but it talks a little bit about that. How can we create a hotel from scratch that is deeply connected with the locale and that can really bring the best we have to offer when it comes to luxury hospitality in the Caribbean. Okay, so I will leave you with the video now. Let's see if it works. It works.
There is no design without a story. There is no story without the human connection. My name is Tatiana Shevelova, partner and co-founder of Chapeau Design. We design hotels all over the world, and the most recent opened the St. Regis Canal Resort Riviera Maya. The resort's unique landscape pays tribute to the minds who look to the heavens for guidance. With the start as our guide, we inspired by the mind's connection to nature and astrology. We wanted the resort to reflect their spirit, to bring to life the Mayan philosophy of Kanai being heaven on earth. It was important for us to connect the guests with nature and bring the outdoors in. Each space represents a new moment in time carved in our memory. We want to connect the guests to the rich history of this beautiful land and the people who call it home. We want the guests to make connection to the resort, one between nature and their dreams. Our philosophy was to protect the existing mangrove forest on which the resort is located, while bringing to the life storytelling through our designs. Enchanted by the spiritual power of nature, the Maya believed that the resort location was entry to heaven, where the guests will discover and journey to enlightenment. This resort is our love story to Mexico, which was written in the stars.
Excellent. And with that, I finish. Thank you very much for your time. I'm sorry I was rushing it a little bit. I hope you enjoy.